open up some open up some tabs to watch other streamers, give them some views while I was doing mine, and apparently having OBS and Twitch and YouTube and other streamers was too much. Everything crashed. I didn't lose my work. Photoshop didn't crash, luckily. Now I'm not even 100% sure I'm streaming right now. I'm just talking in case I am. I'm opening up Twitch to make sure that I am streaming. And it seems, nope, that's Arazuki. Let me get back on my channel. It's funny, when I go to my channel, I still have to watch a commercial for my own stream. And right now I have 0 people in it. Let's see. Can I get my people back? People back. Can my people see my... Oh, yes, Ox confirms. Definitely back. Thank you, sir. Sorry about that. That was terrible and horrifying. Okay, so I will not open a bunch of other video tabs at the same time. I've learned my lesson on that one. All right. Oh, and it does. It kicks everybody out. Oh, that's a bummer. I was hoping it could just pick up where it was left off. Well, whatever. We got an Ox. We got a Gazbot. We got a Lurker. That's good enough for me. What was I doing? Working on, oh, the body. And as I'm looking at this, I feel like, no, that's all right. Okay, so I am now using the 9 brush, but I'm going down back to the bottom. So now I'm going to, switch to the 5 brush. Ox has hosted me once again. Thank you, sir. You are a ox and a gentleman and a samurai. Let me double check the design on the suit. Okay, so in, oops, not that way. There we go. It's in and out, and then it cuts up into the neck like so. Okay, that'll work. Oh, looks like we got a few of our people back. Anybody that was here before, everything crashed. Sorry about that. I had too many windows open, apparently. And if you're new, well then, welcome. Well, even if you're not new, still welcome. Everybody's welcome. Be my guest. Be my guest. Watch me draw along with the rest. Okay. Hyperforce Red online. Well, not quite, actually. But getting there. Getting there, Folkers. Folkers? That's a weird thing to say. I'm going to put a little black in here, like straight black. I don't use a ton. I try to not on these use a ton of black since I'm going to be coloring so heavy, unless it's a design element of the costume. And even then, like this one is half black, half red, but I'll probably use like a dark gray because otherwise it's just, but the way I'm coloring it doesn't look quite right. If I was doing black and white, I would definitely use more black. Hey, Arzuki, give me a host. Thanks. Thanks there, Zookers. Double thanks. So the eyes are black, the tiger eyes, I should say. What I will do, though, is give a little extra thickness on the bottom of the top of the eye. What does that mean? You see what I'm doing. It's like eyeliner on the top, because you imagine that there's some shadow going in there. And I'm going to do the same thing on the top of the visor. Thicken that line up a little bit. So it's like shadow, so that even though I'm not putting full black in there, it'll be like a piece of the metal or whatever. It won't be affected when I do the shine. Getting back down here. Okay, so we were doing, oh, this should be 5. Go back to 5. Oh, I never really, speaking of solid blacks, not solid, but close to. It's a little part under the chin just to really pop it out. And then I'll put a few more wrinkles using the thin. The 5 will be the thinnest I use on the bottom here. That wrinkle does not look right. When you're doing wrinkles, not that I'm an expert, but it's good to kind of have almost like a vanishing point where they're emanating from. So even if you're wrong, like just having them all kind of pointing in one direction or converging on one point just helps fake it. A lot of my art tips are like, this isn't how you really do it, but this is how you fake it so people don't know any better. If it looks like you did it on purpose and it looks like you know what you're doing, then people won't necessarily question it. Okay, so that's good on that. Oh, you know what? Put a few more lines here. I think I'll put a couple lines. This is the metal part, so I'll put a few little sort of texture shine lines on that. Like so. Let me redo this one so it matches the other better. Okay, let's look at the full head. There's the full head. All right, so now I have 5 going back up to the top, which will be the super fine details. Sometimes I'll go down to 3. I don't know if I'll do that for this, but so I'm going to put, we're looking down, so I'm going to show a little bit of the line on the top of the bottom of the visor. I know that sounds weird, but it makes sense if you look at what I'm doing. Because it is a 3-dimensional piece. It's not, the visor isn't painted on, it's recessed a bit. But depending on the angle, you might not see that. So we're looking slightly down, so you see a little bit of the top of that. Sometimes I'll do the sides, but I'm going to pretend we're looking more or less straight on, so you won't. Similarly, I will do that with this mouthpiece. Although I'll actually do the sides. Like so. And then the top of this red chin part. Oops, maybe do that line. Like that. And then kind of, I probably don't want to close that. Probably work better if I leave it open. Meaning on the bottom, because it fades into the rest of the red. But it's not such a harsh line where it closes like that. Yeah, that's probably good like that. There's probably like a gentle slope that maybe I'll do with the color there. Okay, so that's good enough for that. Then I'll put a little bit of a line in the middle here, like so, just to give it more of a point. Oh, that isn't quite matching though. So once again, want it to match. Oh, and do I need a line in the middle? Actually, I'm not sure if there's literally a line in the middle of the faceplate. Looks like dealer's choice. I see it both ways. Let me see. I'll put, I'll wait and I'll do it with the 3. I'm on the 5 now, so maybe I will go in with the 3 because I'm not sure how I feel about that. And I'll put a little bit of depth on the fangs there, but again with the 5, and a line in the middle, and these lines to show it's popped out, like so. I'll just sort of connecting the stuff I've done before. I'll put a line there. Actually, that's more of a smooth. Okay. And this isn't necessarily like this, but I like the idea that the eye's a little bit recessed, so I'm going to put a little tiny outline underneath it, which also, from a design, like from a construction standpoint, I feel like the helmet should have that. But also, cats kind of have eyeliner, so it kind of serves a dual purpose. Erzuki, who's hosting me. Hey, guess when we're gonna eat dinner? Robot with a tongue out. JK, no rush. Oh, you. Well, I did say I want to finish the inking on the stream, so not before that. I mean, you could eat whenever you want, but if you want to eat together, soonish. I'm not going to do color on this part of it, so soonish. Okay, fonts. I am getting dry-throated as well. It's so hot in here with the door closed, but the cats are growing crazy, so we had to close the door. Maybe, you know what? It's time for a hydration bot. I'm back. I never went anywhere. I just turned off my Mikey. All right, I'm also going to put a little bit of a top of the top. What? Same way I did the inner visor that we could see. I'm going to do the top of the, because it's like an extra metal piece placed on top of the rest of the helmet, or at least in my mind, the way it's constructed, the way I'm logicking it to make sense, to allow myself to make choices. Okay. That all looks reasonable. I could put some, yeah, you know what? I could put some on this eyebrow too. Let me turn off my rough layer. Yeah, that works fine with me. Come on, eyebrow. Thus. That works. And the rest of that I could leave alone. Well, I guess, should I? Yeah, I should put some lines in here. For the under construction, I'll leave those ones off so, again, it stays looking more like an ear. Okay, moving down, moving down, moving down. Boop, boop. I guess I should put a top on here to keep it consistent. Let me redo that. What about Bob? Samuriox says there should be a cat cam in your stream, but start reaching under the door. You know, actually, Erzuki set up a cat cam for when she streams sometimes, but it's usually them sleeping nicely underneath the tables. But yeah, Star flipping out, reaching under the door, that would be a good camera. Unfortunately, we moved about a year ago. Our old house had like a gap under the doors, so Star would always be reaching under, and I could like play with her, like throw little Nerf discs, and we'd hit them back and forth to each other. But most of the doors here, with the carpeting, there is no gap. The trade-off, though, is she's learned how to open some doors, fully open. Like in the old house, she would try, but like the downstairs bathroom door, she will open that door if you're in there. If you don't lock it, she's coming in. It might take her a few tries, but she'll get there. You know, she'll make it. All right, I think that's good. Let me take the long view. Yep, that works. And all right, so let me go into, well, you know what? I'll put a couple 5 lines here. And I guess I should go to 3 just to see if there's anything I want to do with 3. Oh, you know what? That line around the neck is not connected. And there is a color hold there, so I should probably connect it a little bit, because there's a seam line too, right around the neck hole. So I'll stick with my 5, just enough to make sure there's a line there. Just connect these almost lines I have. Probably doesn't matter that much, but it'll just make me feel better when I get to the coloring phase. Good. Time to take off the door. Ox says, time to take the door off and plane about an inch off the bottom. You know, if I could, I would. I mean, I guess maybe I could get the door off. Possibly. I certainly am not going to be planing anything. Although, that makes me think of something funny. I'm very not handy, and I never have been. When I was a kid, I went to a yard sale. I went to yard sales all the time. But I went to this one particular yard sale, and I was by myself, and I had a couple dollars. Like, I'd wandered off from my family. And I was, I don't know, 10, 11, 9, somewhere in there, preteen. And I saw this thing. It was like red and blue, and it kind of had a handle on it. And it looked sort of, hold on, I'm going to sneeze. Excuse me. And it looked shiny, like it looked like it might have been some space vehicle or a part of a ray gun or something. I couldn't figure out what it was. And I asked the guy, hey, and it was metal, so it seemed really cool. I'm like, hey, what is this? And he said, oh, it's a plane. And I'm like, oh, a plane? And it was whatever, $3, $5, whatever it was, which I had. I'm like, all right, I'll take it. And shortly thereafter, I showed it to my father or whoever else, and they were like, why did you buy this? I'm like, I don't know, it's cool, it's a plane. Like, maybe there's other pieces that go to it. I'm not sure. Maybe it's, you know, from the 70s or something. And they're like, what? It's a plane, like for wood. And I'm like, what? And that is the type of plane you were referring to that I only know what it is because I bought one once thinking it was a toy. I was so upset. I think I gave it to my dad. I'm like, oh, I'm never going to use this. So here you are. Bless you. Yeah. Yeah, it was ignorance. It was ignorance for sure. I wanted a toy and I got a tool. So I immediately got rid of it. All right. Oh, that's right. I'm going to go in with 3. Yeah, I'm very close to being done with the inks here, which is good news for Erzuki, who's like, I want to eat some chomps. Oop, that is, I could erase that guide layer. Back to the original guide layer. Now I'm going to put these 3, I'm not sure if I want them, so I'm going to be liberal, so I'm going to put them on their own layer so that I could lower the opacity or just get rid of them altogether if I think it's too much. But I kind of like the idea of doing this, and this, and a little bit of this, and do some 90s kind of tick marks there. That arc is not very good though. Let me reassess. It should follow the arc of that line. So tick marks running in a line. Yeah. Ox, that's a great story. I'm glad you enjoyed the story. I brought up a plane like 3 times this last week, and no one knew what it was. Well, that's amazing, because, again, I don't know what most tools are. So it's funny that I only know because I was ignorant of it once before. And it really stuck out. Like if I'd learned that when I was in my 20s, I might not even remember it. But I was so young that I'm like, what? Oh no! It was like traumatic. All right, I'll put another line here for the old ears just to make them pop. And the top. Again, this is on its own layer, so I could totally change my mind later or soften it by lowering the opacity. Ooh, that line's a little wonkier than I thought it was originally, but whatever. Come on, just give me that whoosh. Ah, I whooshed it. Where you from, Worcester? Worcester? Is that a place? I don't know. Okay, I'm going to zoom out again. Now I am going to get rid of the guide, and I realize I missed a detail line, so I'm going to switch back to my number 5 and the original ink layer because I want to put a little quap right there and a little squap right there. And I probably, to keep it consistent, should even do another line on top of that, similar to the eyebrows and stuff. Maybe not. I don't know. I'll think about it as I'm doing this line. Let's see what happens if I put it in. Does it look more right or wrong? If I do it just on the top, maybe? That doesn't make sense. Oh, I know what I got to do. I have to start it from the point, like it's fading away. I'm not doing it correctly, but start it at that point and then widen it out for going around the head. That might work. Widen it out for going around the head. Let's see. Yep, that was it. Good. Good me. Good me. All right, getting back to my 3 layer. All right, want a line like that. Nope, I want it, but I didn't get it. Erase that a little bit, and that, and that. Not quite. Oh, I should go all the way from the top? Yeah. Well, I don't like the top part, but I got the bottom, which is kind of what I wanted anyway, so that's fine. Yeah, I think I might want to keep these lines just for a little extra pizzazzer. Zizzle zazz. Zizzazzle. All right, that works. Another story of me being an idiot when I was a kid. I had a skateboard, and it was a cheap, like a $25 skateboard you'd buy from like Kmart. It wasn't a good skateboard, but I didn't know the difference. And like, I did like as much as I wasn't interested in like carpentry and stuff. I'm like, oh well, I'm a skateboard guy, and I wasn't. I was never good, but I wanted to be so bad. And I was like, I should, work on my skateboard because you always see like TV shows. A lot of what I learned was from TV. You see TV shows of like, the cool kid with the skateboard, and he'd be like working on it. And so I got I think a socket wrench to take off the nuts of the wheels, and I took them off, and there were these weird like bearings inside. And I'm like, well, I got to make them go good. So I sprayed the crap out of them with WD-40. I'm like, well, that's how you clean them off. And I got all the gunk out and got all the black water and just sprayed the crap out of them and wiped them off and put it all back together. And I don't know that I did a great job putting it back together, but it was fine. It should work. And then that skateboard would barely move because apparently WD-40 isn't some kind of lubricant cleaner thing. Like I thought it was some sort of lubricant cleaner in one, but it's a cleaner, but it cleaned off like all the lubricant. So the the wheels and the bearings are supposed to have lubricant so they move quickly, and I cleaned all that scrap off so that it didn't work well. And that was the end of that skateboard because there was no fixing it. I mean, there probably was a way to fix it, but I didn't know how. And I wasn't going to be like, hey, by the way, I ruined my skateboard after And I also went out and bought the WD-40. Like, it's like, I spent money to ruin my skateboard. Can I have more money to fix it? Maybe they would have given it to me. I don't know, but I was just like, I guess I'm done with this skateboard. I bought a new one at some point in the future. Not like the next day, but like way later. I was like, well, I need a new skateboard because that other one is unfixable, apparently. I have a similar story about a bike doing very similar thing where I broke the chain. Like the chain fell off the bike, and I'm like, I know how to fix it, and I just banged around on it so much that it was a 10-speed, and I completely destroyed it, where it wouldn't be worth paying the money to fix it. Yes, crying with laughter is the best way to do it. That's what I was doing then, too. I was like, ah! All right. I'm just double checking there's nothing. Okay, the helmet is done. I'm going to leave those lines in. I like the way they look. I feel like I might want to put a boulder line. Okay, I'm going to make another layer, and I think I'm going to put a boulder line for the pattern on the suit, which originally I was saying I shouldn't because it's just two-dimensional. But because it's going to be black on one side and I'm not going to use full black for it, I think if I make at least a full black dark line for the division, that'll be good. So and the unfortunate part is I already made these lines, so got to kind of match. I guess I could just erase them. Whatever. It's not a big problem. It's not like I ruined the ball bearings. I could fix it. Another time, when I was much younger than any of these, I was my parents had been divorced almost since I could remember, and my dad had at the time a long-term girlfriend, and so like I'd go over her house a lot. And she had a pool, and me and her kid was younger than me, but we got along. We were friends, and we were up for some reason. We were in her mom's room, which we probably shouldn't have been, but that's where we were playing, and she was trying to turn on a lamp, and again maybe I was 9 and she was like 7 or 6 or something. Like I don't remember the ages. We were both very young, but I was older, so I knew what was going on. I didn't, but And the lamp wouldn't work. It was like a plug-in lamp, and I don't know if she didn't turn it right, if the bulb was dead. I had no idea. These aren't even things that I was thinking though. This is what I might think now with like my limited cognitive capabilities. But at that time they were even more limited. Or diagnostic, I should say, cognitive. Me no be so good. That just sounds like I don't speak English properly. But what was I even saying? I've lost track. Oh, so I was like, well, I can fix it. And my way to fix it was, I don't know if I unplugged it or was already not plugged in, but the decision was that the plug was broken. Again, we didn't check the light switch on the wall. There's a lot of things that could have been checked, even if, again, with my limited knowledge now. But so I decided that the outlet didn't work, and so we needed to get in there, and not with like a screwdriver to unscrew the plate and get in there or whatever, but just like there's probably something stuck in there. We just need to like jam it out, jam it in. Who knows? I really didn't know what I was doing. I don't know. I don't know if I was trying to impress her with how cool I was, not in a like I liked her way, but just like I'm the older kid, I know what's going on kind of way. But essentially there was I don't know what you call them. It's like a hair clip, but it's metal and it's like about that long, and if you squeeze the end, it opens up like this. And there was one on the dresser or whatever of her mother, so I'm like, well, this is almost exactly the right size and shape to fit inside that outlet. So I jammed it in there and electrocuted myself. I mean, I didn't have to go to the hospital or anything, but I was like, "Bots!" And it made like a huge spark noise and like a little burn mark, and my hand went completely numb. And people come running upstairs like, "What are you doing? What are you doing?" And I was like, "I'm sorry, I was trying to fix the lamp, but I know we shouldn't have been in here." And they're like, "Did you just electrocute yourself?" I'm like, I was worried that I'd gotten in trouble, not that they thought I was about to kill myself, which I didn't get in trouble. So in the end, it was good because I think I probably messed up the outlet that maybe wasn't messed up to begin with. So the fact that by hurting myself I got out of trouble, kind of win-win. Well, win-lose, I don't know. Not a good strategy, but one that worked regardless. I'm going to take a hydration bot drink. And I'm back. All right. I think I'm done. I'm going to test just to see if I did throw in some heavy. Oops. Nope. I want non-contiguous. I mean, I want contiguous, not contiguous. If I do throw in some heavy black, how's that going to pan out for me? Well, I got to do the helmet anyway. I'll just do all the blacks. So separate layer, though. And then we'll throw in the blacks. I do like this. It makes it like go pow and pop it really good. Yeah, now it looks like a finished piece of something. Ox. Oh, I've definitely done that myself as well. It's hard to describe the numbness to people that haven't. Yeah, although I'm betting that when you did it, you were like using tools and kind of had half an idea what you were doing and made a mistake and grabbed the wrong wire or accidentally touched something. Maybe I'm giving you too much credit, but you seem like a handy dude. So, I literally was just like, "Gah!" But yeah, it is weird. It's not like pins and needles like when you lay on your hand like for too long or something. It's weird. All right, I'm not sure if I'm gonna. Well, let me just see if I brought this black down to 50. Oh, there's some weird like rasterization, some anti-aliasing issues going on around things. Well, you know what? Here's what I'm gonna do. The inks are done. I may or may not keep this 100% black, but that's going to be determined in coloring. So I'm going to say that the inks are done. Hyperforce red from roughs to inks been about, let's see, I started 5:36, 2 hours to get to this point. If I decide to stream the coloring, I'll put up an announcement. But in the meantime, thank you for those that watched all the way to the end, including Samurai Ox and Airzuki, and all the people that jumped in and out in between, and anybody that's watching this on the rebroadcast here on Twitch, or if I decide to put it on YouTube. So thank you very much. I'm going to leave now. It's taken me a while to find the button to hang up. All right, there we go. Powering down.